future faculty mo, ayan, si Mr. Lopez at si Mr. Kapulong.
Ayaw na naman mag-yes sa akin ni Mr. Lance kahit ang dami-dami ko ng order ng Korean water.
Oh, yeah.
Yung buong family ko, hello.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for the
My
support.
whole family is in true value.
Wow, thank you.
Wala pa akong VIP card.
Dapat.
Walang VIP, pero pag nagpa-deliver ka naman, ora mismo, tingnan mo naman yun.
I know.
Diba?
At hindi Grab, sariling kotse.
Alright. So guys, for those who don't know, no, personal background lang. VP Melissa and I have been friends for the past 12 years. We're actually classmates. It's the Asian Institute of Management. We both took up masters in entrepreneurship. Hence, the reason for the yung pag ini-invite lagi. Alright, let's start na. So, actually, VP Melissa, so may negotiable instruments class, nandito rin sila. Kailangan nila ng added points kasi bagsak sila lahat sa midterms. Guys, sinabi ko na. Bagsak sila lahat sa midterms. Ayan, tumatawa si Alec. So nagpa-midterms kami. Ang highest ko sa midterms sa negotiable instruments is 72. So nag-retake. So sabi ko, pumasok kayo para this is considered a quiz. Hindi ko alam kung ako yung may problema pero ang hirap ng negotiable instruments. But anyway, this class, ayan, baka daw negotiable yung grades. Sabi ng negotiable.
Ay, andito yung mga students ko from
yan pala. Alright, so this is my organizational development class. Okay. So the entire semester, I have a different, so to the panelists, I don't do the classical style kasi of just teaching. Basta if it's an HR class, and if it's organizational development or business, my students are required from day one to have a laboratory. So VP, just in case you don't know, all the businesses are actually from Malabon. So
Okay.
So I have 8 groups for this class. And ang swerte ng mga businesses because they actually get to benefit from the interventions that my students have been doing. Okay, so the entire semester, this is the culmination, but of course we're going to be having more parang sub topics. But so what they do is, for example, if the topic is SWOT analysis, they apply it to the actual business. And so, okay, class, I invited 3 panelists because the organizational development is applicable in several situations. We have VP Melissa, na ang tawag ko sa kanya, Bagyong Melissa yan, who really turned around CMU. Bagyo, she's really a storm talaga, no? Talagang, and then we have here husband and wife team, Lance and Isha Kapulong, who talaga expansion naman yung sa kanila. And we have here naman a story naman of change na retrenchment. So my students can see yung different applications. So let me start now. I'm going to introduce our panelists. Okay, so VP Melissa is a former chef who expanded her expertise in education management with leadership positions at the country's premier and pioneer culinary school from 2009 to 2016. She's currently working on a freelance or per project basis by creating programs and projects for special concerns and advocacies. Her project at the moment is creating cultural change, operation systems, and creating a brand image for CMU. Hindi naman to basta-basta. She earned her hotel and restaurant management degree from École Les Roches in Switzerland. So medyo international po tayo. She attended various international seminars and completed her master's in entrepreneurship from the Asian Institute of Management. She's currently taking up also her doctor's degree, and I know she is enrolled now with the Harvard School.
What's secret pa yun?
Oh, yun na, in-announce ko na. Sorry.
Mag-graduate na ako in 2 weeks.
Because you're my friend, I'm announcing naka-enroll ka sa Harvard.
Yeah.
Proud ako. And she's actually taking also her doctorate degree. Hindi naman kami mga basta-basta, you know. Okay. She was given the Presidential Medallion by the American Culinary Federation in the National Convention in 2012. She was the very first Filipina to be given a certified executive chef title by the American Culinary Federation. From cooking up dishes to now cooking up transformation education in education, we welcome VP Melissa Oreta. VP, a few words. Ayan.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Looking forward to a productive afternoon with all of you. Hi.
Wait lang, I'm telling everybody that we will record this. Legal basis. I need to ask for everyone's permission. All right, ladies first. Okay, thank you, VP Melissa, for taking the time. So our next set of panelists, they're actually a husband and wife team. They met in college, cute, and are now running. Dun sila naging mag-boyfriend and girlfriend, and they're now running the world's #1 cleaner. Agree, Franco and Melissa? Hindi tayo biased. Ito, yan.
World talaga. Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
Diba?
Yes, VIP card, please.
Direction na lang kami na mag-deliver.
Okay, ladies first. So Isha, there, she's so napakagandang pregnant woman ito, third. Isha graduated from Woodrose in 2003. She took up Bachelor of Arts in the Humanities and was part of the Junior Marketing Communication team in the University of Asia and the Pacific in college. Isha worked under the Arts and Culture Senior Director of Ayala Foundation, Ayala Museum, for 2 years. For the past years, she heads the special projects of CY Innovations Ventures Corporation and spearheads branding and merchandise development for Corinne. Kaya ang social ng Corinne dahil yan kay Isha. Bigyan natin yun. Okay. Yung susunod, ito ang gwapo talaga nito. Siguro yung jeans ng pamilya nyo, ano? Magandang jeans ng pamilya mo, no? Okay. So Lance graduated as well from the University of Asia and the Pacific with a major in entrepreneurship. He has 2 master's degree. VP, dalawa master's degree, ayaw magturo sa'yo. He has 2 master's degree, one from the Ateneo MBA program and John Gokongwei program, and the other from the Masters of Entrepreneurship program. Okay. He worked under Lance Gokongwei with the Robinsons Group of Company and then ventured into the entrepreneurship life and opened up Sbarro, Army Navy, Anytime Fitness. He is now the CEO and president of CY Innovation, the home of the best cleaning product, Corinne. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you for the
Any
introduction.
words, Isha and Lance?
Thank you so much for the introduction. We're excited to share whatever we can share with your students.
Isha?
Same.
Okay, our next panelist is a graduate of San Beda College, Alabang in entrepreneurship. He's a multi-awarded HR practitioner in his field. Kala mo sa showbiz ko sasabihin na multi-awarded ka, no? Franco.
Classic.
Classic, di ba? Multi-awarded naman yan, HR practitioner in his field. He has over 16 years of experience in the human resources and labor relations industry. He's currently holding a post of senior manager for a BPO company that employs a workforce of 2,500 employees. He has managed teams under recruitment and employee relations and provided HR and org dev consultation services to other independent business owners such as Kenji Pay, Korean, Anytime Fitness, and he's also an adopted son of CMU because he has worked also with the org dev of CMU. Welcome, Franco.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me here. And I met some of the students already before and looking forward to this afternoon and learn as well from you guys. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Sige. So, this is it. Actually, this seminar, wala tong lecture. Ang lecture, kayo talaga yung resource speaker namin. So what we're going to do is meron akong students from the from my HROD class. And are you guys ready to ask? Nasaan yung HROD class ko? Monique, tanggalin mo na muna yung pin kay Franco. Wait lang, I'm calling my HROD class. VP Melissa, I saw one of my co-professors, Professor Wico. Ito yung mga students na dahil sinabak mo kami sa law subject, biglang nagkaroon ng mga San Beda, Alabang law students dito. So, okay. So first of all, okay, so ako na muna, very first question. To the panelists, can you give a very short description of what your organization is currently undergoing to warrant organizational change management? Ako po, can we begin with VP Melissa Oreta? Thank you, VP.
begin with the most controversial. Okay. Um, I think among all the panelists, we're probably the youngest in terms of the stage we're in terms of organizational changes and development. Because I think as we are discussing this now, it's actually still ongoing. No? So I wouldn't say we're in the late stages. We're probably still in the infancy stages of the transformations that we have been doing. But just siguro to give a definition of when we speak about organizational transformation, we always have to always look at the word transformation, that it's something that must be uncomfortable because you get out of your comfort zone. So with that being said, there's much resistance from a lot of people, of course. Um, and why do we need changes sa CMU? Um, I think it's pretty obvious to the students here, no, why we needed the changes, but just to make refresh everybody's memory. I think it was more than the physical changes. So I think our president now, our university president, who happens to be my husband, just had a certain vision for many years, and the vision was just never implemented in other aspects of the school. And he sees the rest of the world, he sees the rest of the Philippines and how it's progressing in terms of workforce. And Malabon has not been getting its fair share in terms of filling up those gaps of those available jobs out there. And basically, it's really going down or going back to the basics is we review what education are we offering. Because I think if you review many researches, Asian society has invested so much into research in terms of industry and higher education gaps. Dole also, McKinsey, practically every big name, companies or organization, even Save the Children, all of them contributed to research, and it's always the same results. No, there's always a big gap between the industry, what the industry is looking for, and what the HEIs have been offering. And then we compare this to what is mandated by CHED. I think the biggest confusion is just because it's mandated by CHED, ibig sabihin yun lang ang i-offer ng school, which I think that is where everything went downhill, di ba? CHED will always be the minimum requirement. And I think as an institution, it is our obligation to adapt to that, to give, if all of you took up marketing na for the students here, it could be the unique selling proposition of our graduates. So in a way, those were, kasi parang basically kung tatanungin mo, i-define mo, pag-graduate ba ng CMU, anong klaseng students yon? Hindi kami makasagot. And even our university president, hindi rin siya masagot ng former management. So, ibig sabihin, walang positioning. Ibig sabihin, walang set of traits, walang set of characters, walang set of guidelines na binibigay sa mga estudyante para yung end product, meron tayong signature. So, do we have the most, na pinakamagaling mag-business communication writing? Hindi, wala kaming claim to fame. Kumbaga. So, I think there are many reasons why we needed to make a change, but the biggest reason of that is we wanted to really be true to the vision of the school, to be the standard, to be the bridge to that better standard of living. Lahat naman nag-aaral para makaahon sa kahirapan. That is the main goal. And delivering education based on mandate of CHED is not a guarantee that they can get a better job. But creating courses that actually have a niche or have that unique selling subject that HR people such as you, Franco and Kate, will take interest in. No? So, I mean, just to give you an example, this coming school year, all our courses in College of Business and Accountancy will have development of an enterprise. And why is that? Because if you ask all of the students, lahat sila patungo doon. Magtatrabaho ng sandali, mag-iipon, pagkatapos magbubukas ng sariling negosyo. So for CMU to equip them better for that dream and their personal vision, then we have to equip them or give them knowledge how it is to run your own business. So, paano ba ako sasabihin kung anong stage kami ngayon ng CMU? Parang I'm feeling all punches. If you have the upper body, mid, and lower, it's practically an overhaul change, and you feel the punches in upper, mid, and lower in different sides. So
Yeah.
just to be very descriptive about it.
Yun yung adrenaline rush ng organizational development. Yung not yet there, but parang in the middle of battle, pero you're very clear in mind what's the end state. Franco, before we proceed dun sa mag-asawa, would like to tell the students anong stage kayo in the organization and para ma-understand nila yung application ng organizational development. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kate. So just to share my piece, no, just to explain first the industry that we are in. Um, so Amdatex is a BPO company. So basically, we provide services to customers of in the US. No? So US customers very demanding, high on quality and all that. Siguro a major change that we're going through right now, Kate, is the word yung work from home setup because it used to be a very special privilege that few employees enjoy before the lockdown. No? Now that everybody has had a chance to really experience it, or so everybody thought na, wow, it's a very, how do I say this, convenient setup for, for the employees. Little by little, no, after a year, we started to go back to the original attrition rates, no? Kasi before the lockdown, our attrition rate was at 24%, which is average for the BPO industry. During the first few months of the work from home setup, it went down to 17%. So we could interpret that as people really are I mean, the work from home setup works well for a lot of employees. Kaya lang, after a year has passed, we started to observe na din na yung attrition is slightly going higher ulit from 17% now to 20%. So what our interpretation here is that even if people are working from home, no, leaders should still respect yung work-life balance among the employees, right? Because we also run yung exit interviews when people leave, and one of the common reasons that people cite when they leave is that they're just getting overwhelmed with work. No? So that's why we created a special committee to look into the practices, the current practices of leaders, wherein we found out that some of the leaders even hold meetings after the shift na. No? So those are the changes na that we are experiencing. Now we do not blame the leaders pa then, of course, kasi before, when people are in the office or in the work from office setup, leaders can clearly manage their team. I mean, leaders can manage their team well because they're there in the office. So it's extra challenging for the leaders as well to manage their people this time who are working from home. Kasi nga, our clients are very critical of performance quality and output. Kaya some of the employees are also taking advantage, or no, ayoko naman sabihin na taking advantage, pero medyo na-abuse yung work from home setup. Imagine binigyan na sila ng work from home setup, very convenient, pero we would still receive reports na employees sleeping on duty, no? Kaya na-abuse ng some of the employees, kaya the leaders are extra um, hands-on, no, to ensure that output and quality are maintained. So I guess that's the to sum it up, Kate and the students, no. The major change that we are going through right now is how to um, balance, no, yung work from home setup and the factors surrounding it, like dapat ang mga tao pag oras ng pahinga, pahinga talaga, no. So it's really a balancing act between the leaders' trust on their employees and the employees not abusing this kind of setup currently.
Thank you, Franco. Wonderful input. Oh, maski ako ang dami kong natutunan. Kaya kailangan talaga natin ng industry practitioners to always show our students what is theoretical and what is actually happening outside. Thank you, Franco. I'm going to ask the Korean team, the husband and wife team, to discuss naman on their end. Anong stage ng organization ninyo ngayon with Corinne, the best cleaner in the world? Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Kate or Ate. I don't know how to call you here, but Professor maybe. So anyway, so for CY Innovations or the Korean team, we are in a I cannot be grateful enough to say that we are in a position of growth. No, so the product for some of you who don't know is Korean. Ay, hindi kita. No? So anyway, nagbo-blur siya because of our camera. So it's an innovative product which is focused on giving an alternative solution to households, to buyers on having a cleaner that is a as effective or even better than traditional chemical products, but is purely made of majority water only. So we wanted to share this innovation, which is originally from Japan, and where we started was 2018. We started our business with an Instagram account, a website, and two staffs. Um, so and that was 2018. We were ahead of the rest of the population and did not expect it because half of our team, so meaning the two, one was the operation staff na nagpapak, the other one was work from home mom. So from prior to the pandemic, may work from home setup na kami. So hindi lang kami nakiuso. So right now, fast forward to 2021, we are very, as I said, very lucky. We're very happy to be in this position. VP, Chef Melis knows this, that I came also from the food industry, which is very, very, very competitive. And a lot of them have actually struggling now, no, especially because of this pandemic, no. So I'm lucky to be in the very uh, on the uptick na industries, which is the household cleaners, no. So we actually are classified as an essential good in the warehouse or hardware stores that you see us in, no. So you could imagine the growth. We experienced growth last year, and as I said, I tell this to our consultants, to my partners. Now we have a very good problem, which is a growth, not a problem, no, but an opportunity, but in a way a problem, because we have to grow our team to match the demand of the market. So from the two employees, we had a very strong pre-pandemic start because of social media. Through our social media presence, our the big brands took note of us, noticed us, no, and invited us to be in their stores, as VP Melis mentioned about True Value and Handyman and the like, no. So because of our digital presence, and we were just because of our my partner, my brother also is focused on digital. We were pretty much set on just doing a digital setup with logistics na operations. But we did not expect that the traditional will still tap us. So we did grow both digitally in terms of market, and even the traditional mall locations, which I did not expect again. No? So you could imagine from the back end, even before the pandemic, we were already growing. I think we grew up to around 25 people from two people. Well, including myself, mga handful kami, no? Part-time accountant, part-time collection, na naging full-time, part-time HR, naging full-time. So now, we are in a position where we're trying to manage our growth. We are in a pretty much a growth position where we really want to take off from being a startup company to really a brand that becomes a mainstay household brand, both locally, and in fact, I was just talking to my partners, even exploring international opportunities. So that's where we are, no, Isha?
I think in terms of organizational development, right now, since I'm heading the marketing side, I think we've identified that the marketing bit digitally is so important. So right now, work from home setup, just like what Franco said, is a little bit difficult because it's hard to manage team. And since we're bringing in new people, creative especially, and they all have their own way of thinking, and they have their own way of doing their own creative processes. It's so difficult to kind of like, and we have a specific kind of branding that we want to be able to let our customers know, especially since it's a Japanese product and an innovation in itself. It gets tricky, but we've discovered that during this pandemic, it's so important to get the message right and out correctly to the market. And so in terms of development, we should I explain that we've already trenched the
Yeah, there's so many. Yeah,
yeah.
you can say
So
that.
what we've decided, since we have the institutional accounts for handyman, the bigger brands, that we also have to be able to position our marketing in just to help push the products in those traditional markets. Second, we have our own e-commerce that also has to reflect the same branding and message. And then third, we have the other e-commerce, because right now we're also part of the online malls,
The
the
Shoppies and
Shoppies and
Lazadas. Yeah,
Lazadas. So we've discovered that marketing in each area
it's
is
different.
different and important, and sends a message differently from each one of them. So that's very interesting for us. We didn't expect also that we would have to deal with this kind of organizational development in terms of marketing. So that's been tricky lately, since again we can't see them face to face, our staff, and so it's hard to get their heart.
Usually, when you deal with digital creatives, marketing people, it's nice to have like a brainstorming meeting over coffee, over some snacks,
Yes.
and you can imagine. And I'll be honest with you, the people we've hired and the people we've hired since last year, I have not personally met
Mhm.
since 1 year. So ibang klase yung challenge na yun to
Yeah.
try to get the feel of running the business, growing it,
And yet feeling close to the employees.
trying to build that culture,
Yeah.
try to segregate them in proper departments or divisions. So that's where we are.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Wonderful. All right, sige. So next question. The next question is for Miss Annalyn Kagata. She's my student sa organizational development. Annalyn, are you here?
Good afternoon po, ma'am.
Okay. Darling, you cannot turn on your video, no? Mahirap. All right, sige. Sige, Annalyn, just go. Go ahead.
This question po, ma'am, is for Prof. Melissa po, ma'am. What are the secrets behind of the success of your change management for the university? Thank you po, ma'am.
Parang pang Miss Universe yung tanong, what are the secrets daw?
Ito-practice na ako for May 17.
What are your
Thank you.
secrets, VP Melissa? But really, for talagang as an organizational development practitioner, this is talaga one for the books, no? Yung the speed and the effectiveness with which the university really transforms. So what is your secret daw, VP Melissa? Thank you.
I can't really say it's a success yet, no. Kasi nga, we are still in the process of change. I guess, when you do organizational change, you just can't change right away. Diba? First, you have to assimilate. You try to detach yourself a little bit from a lot of people. And I didn't do it alone. No? So basically, just to share with everybody, it was, I think 2019, wherein the chairman then, which is our university president, was already expressing his frustrations, no, with City of Malabon, that he just wanted it to be a little bit more innovative and more cutting edge para sa mga students. So, of course, I wasn't reacting because I really did not want to be part of it. Alam niyo ni Kate, kasi parang, I'm at the stage of my life that, I was a little bit relaxed. If I want to accept a contract for a consultancy, I will accept. Siguro I'll just accept 3 times a year, twice a year. Hindi na talaga ako yung kayod kalabaw. Alam mo yun? Wala na ako sa stage na yun. You know, I'm turning 48, so I'm not at that stage anymore that meron akong binabayaran na utang because may binili akong bahay. Wala na yun. No? May bahay na ako. Basically, alam mo yun, nandun na ako sa stage na yun. So, it was about January na may masinsina na kinausap na kami ni Mayor. So basically, before coming into the organization, we weren't really in the organization. But the president then was already forming a team to come in. So that's just one thing I want you to realize. So when you do organizational change, it doesn't take one person. No? And then second, it's important kung ano yung vision. Because yun yung masinsina na kinausap natin yung president na parang, how do you want it to be? What do you want? Because if he probably said na I don't know, at ako pa yung mag-iisip nun, malamang hindi ako pumayag din, no? Kahit asawa ko siya. Because for me, he was the president of the university, so it's important that he knows ano yung gusto niyang end result. I am just the implementer. Whatever vision he wants, may it be impossible. Kung gusto niya kapantayan namin yung Ateneo, wala kaming choice, gagawin namin yon. Kung gusto niya yung feel, kaya naman nakita niyo yung bago nating logo, Ateneo yung feels, di ba? So, it's, kasi gusto niya yon. Parang kami, we will just make your dream a reality. So we're that team. So that's me, Engineer Sheila, Dr. Arcega. So I didn't do this on my own. So basically, it all started with the vision of the president. And after from that vision, you translate it. So that's what makes you manage.
Sorry, guys. Mute, please. Sorry, VP. Go ahead, VP.
Ayun.
Sorry. Okay.
Sorry. So basically, yun lang. This, I guess the secret of a successful organizational change or culture, I think number one is you have to be very clear with what is the vision of, especially of the one who's hiring you. And then second is you have to come up with a dream team. You know, you call it the dream team or the ideal team. Because any change naman that's happening, people around you will be very anxious. You just imagine the feeling that when we were all in lockdown and how it felt. You didn't know where to position yourself. You didn't know if tomorrow, if you breathe, you're gonna have COVID. All of that feelings, nafe-feel din yun ng tao sa organization kung bago yung management. There's fear. Some of them are excited. Some are fearful. Some are angry. It's a mix of emotions. So, mahirap yon kung nag-iisa ka. So definitely, a success is really finding who the right team is to work with, no, towards that change. Kung ano yung kung successful pa ngayon ng CMU, I wouldn't consider it as a success yet. And of course, ang inuna namin is, kung di ba pag may nakikidnap, kailangan ng proof of life para bayaran. Di ba? Kung ganun yun, di ba? O, magbabayad ako pero proof of life. Bibili ako ng ganyan sa Lazada pero babasahin mo yung reviews. Ibig sabihin, merong proof or katibayan na I am buying something worth it. That's one of the reasons why ang inuna namin was the physical changes, especially the bathrooms. Because how we manage the bathroom is a revelation of what the characteristics of the people are here in CMU. And if you have visited the bathrooms before, it does not speak well about us. Nakita mo ang baho. So mabaho ba tayo katauhan natin? Nakita mo madilim ba yung katauhan natin? So for me, if eyes is the windows to the soul, for me, the bathrooms is always the character revelation of an organization. It's the same when you go into a hospital, you look at the bathroom. If you're in the restaurant, madumi yung banyo, natatakot ka, marumi yung pagkain. So that's why one of the things that prioritize namin was the physical change, because we needed to prove that this management and this university president who is now sitting here is really serious that there is going to be change. So yun lang. So I think titingnan mo lang kung ano yung immediate changes na pwede mo magawa. I think yung perfect example na sasabihin ko sa'yo, si Mayor Isko. Wala pa talaga siyang concrete na ginagawa, pero parang kaakala mo ang dami kasi bagong pintura yung bridges, bagong drawing ng murals, things that can be done in 2 days and 3 days, ginawa niya. So it's the same with CMU. Things that we can do immediately, 1 month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, yun na muna yung ginawa namin para maramdaman agad that there is already change. So I think if you were to approach any, I think yun yung una mong kailangan gawin. I hope I
Tama.
answered.
Yes, that's low hanging. We call that low hanging fruits sa organizational development. No, yung parang yung mga things that people will make you believe that there's really change, 'di ba? Na hindi siya parang something that they cannot imagine and cannot see. We now call Melanie Magno. My student Melanie Magno, are you here?
Yes po, good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, this question po is for Sir Franco. Sorry.
Hello, Miss.
On the retrenchment that happened, how did you manage and encourage your HR team to handle the situation? Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Melanie, for asking that. No,
Franco, sorry, sisingit lang ako. Can you
sure,
tell
sure.
us muna how many hundreds or dozens of employees did you have to unfortunately let go para maintindihan nila kung gaano ka massive ang retrenchment sa organization nyo?
Sure. It made up of 10% so of the population. So that's about more than 200 employees were let go at the time. No, so very very difficult. And to answer the question of Miss Melanie here, the HR team itself, we need to be we needed to prepare ourselves emotionally and calibrate our approach when we talk to these people. No? At that time, no, when we let go of these people, we had no choice but to. I mean, the natural way of doing it, really, while everybody was on lockdown, is really to have a Zoom meeting to announce it and then say goodbye and then have them receive the separation pay. Kaya lang, we are dealing with human beings, no? And we got past that. No? We got past the Zoom meetings. So we formed a team. So I was part of that team also to literally visit these employees face to face. No? Delikado, definitely. Kaya lang, of course, we had to take on the all the measures to keep everybody safe. No? Kaya lang it spelled out a very different meaning. Now, when we went to these people's households, all 200 of them, to deliver the letter, mga musta. Of course, all the measures, all the precautionary measures were observed. May social distancing and all that. Pero majority, although majority of the people that we talked to, they even thanked the team. They even thanked the organization. It was difficult for them, pero they sent out messages to management to appreciate the way how it was done. No? Yun siguro, that's how we prepared ourselves at that time. No? Inisip lang namin na these people that we let go were not even difficult or problem employees. These were performers, these were key employees. Kaya ano basically they don't really deserve that if we were in a normal situation. No? Kaya siguro yung extra care, extra attention that we that we conducted or that we had for these people made a difference, a very big difference. Kaya wala doon sa 200 nagreklamo, wala doon sa 200 nagalit sa management. Of course, maraming umiyak, definitely. Kaya lang, I guess, they felt the care and the concern showed by management.
Thank you, Franco.
Thank you, Miss Melanie. Thank you, Miss Kate.
All right, we have Katrina Ayongao.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon po, ma'am. This question is for Ma'am Sheila and Sir Lance.
Isha,
What
sorry.
is-
Isha, Ma'am Isha. Sorry,
Ma'am,
darling.
This question is for Ma'am Isha and for Sir Lance. What is the role that HR played in the organizational development and change management of Corinne?
Thank you, Katrina. Very
So important.
the change management
Major
talagang
leader.
literal ito yung pader na sinasandalan namin as owners and management because I took note of a keyword that VP Melis mentioned kanina, which is the term change. Change is difficult, especially on the perspective of any management. And I was also an employee myself once, and any changes is uncomfortable, nakakatakot, or uncertain. You don't know what's happening. Now, it comes both with, as Franco mentioned, about changes that are sad, brought about by unfortunate things like the pandemic. At the same time, sa amin, yung changes namin, as I was telling you kanina, we started from two. Now, I think, including myself, we are at around 50 people. So, the changes that we had to do was that when we grew on the first year, tinawid namin, yung imagine nung nagsistart ako, makakabenta ba ako kahit isang bote lang? Yun yung tanong namin eh. Magpapasweldo ako, ilang bote kailangan ko ibenta, mabayaran ng sweldo tong mga tao. From there to stabilizing that, and then growing, and then, oh no, kailangan. So Isha was mentioning the creatives, marketing people. Nagkaroon, last year naman, I was busy setting up the manufacturing and logistics side. So you're hiring a lot of, workers talaga na manual labor workers, tapos the supervisors there. No? So the HR is pretty much the bida namin sila, sa totoo lang. Talagang, so hindi ko ako nagpapasip-sip sa ate ko si Miss Kate, she's our HR consultant there. And sila yung bida because...
Sorry, hindi nila alam. I'm the HR director, but it's
Yes.
professionally run. Hindi siya ate bunsoy relation.
Yeah. I call her Miss Kate sometimes. So now you could imagine the changes that are happening is both an initiative that the HR and the management does. The management, we need to develop our relationship with the team, our demands from them, our expectations from them, making sure everything is running smoothly. Now, HR provides pretty much the heart, no? The heart, and even not just the heart, pati yung the discipline side, and then even if they cannot connect to management, they run, para silang nanay din, you could say that, because they run to HR to inquire both the personal things and the some legal things maybe, or what are the policies of the company. Sila yun eh. So parang nanay ng bahay. Sila yung nag-aayos ng mga detalye that, especially for me, I view myself as parang I'm the head, I'm running the business. I look at the market, tinitignan ko yung benta, tinitignan ko how to capture this opportunity, expansion, growing people. Trying to grow the people is a main objective, but at least I know that the HR is there to help me with my initiatives to make sure that everybody's doing what they're doing. No? On an individual level, you want them to perform. Are we giving them what they need? Are they performing in the way we're expecting them, in what we're paying them to do? Tapos, and so many other things. So from hiring to training even, kasi the nice thing about us was that from rank and file, mababang position, nakita namin good performer, good attitude, HR helps us to transition them to a higher position. So HR, I have to say, human resource, we call it human resource, we call it human development. Some people call it culture, I don't know, but for me it's the most crucial because again, copying from what VP Meli said, it's really finding the right team. And with the HR, parang siguro sa mga people who are fans of a team sports here, basketball team, no? Sometimes there are underperformers. Sometimes there are teammates who bring the team down. Sometimes there are star players. So how do you motivate them? How do you so ganon, no? So the changes are always there, and HR is there to stabilize, to help us stabilize. No? Isha?
So I can compare it with my experience with Ayala Foundation, because in Ayala Foundation is a very established company already, and they already have a set of rules and policies. But I think being management now in a startup, HR's really become so important adapting with the changes that we're trying to implement. Like I've never seen it so clearly before that every time we need to do we need to step somebody up or see whether their characteristics or their strengths or and weaknesses play out, we can always lean on them, so that they've been really crucial in the adapting that we have to do, especially now that we are in a work from home setup. We barely see the employees. I think in a way they feel closer to management because HR is there.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Hindi yan ano, hindi yan nagpapasipsip sa HR. Ano yan? Honest assessment sa kanilang HR director. Okay, wait, I'm going to have to tell you guys this. Ano, I have several companies that I'm handling, and ito talaga sa totoo. My favorite company to handle is CY Korean. Not because they're my family, but because from the onset, the owners, the management team, hinayaan talaga kami ng free hand. So kung merong perfect model of an organizational development and human resource, this is really in CY Korean because all of the change management toolkit and lahat ng natutunan ko in my years of industry, they so generously allowed me and trusted me to really not experiment but to trust me with my discernment paano isi-steer yung team into a high-performing, very happy, values-laden organization. That is very difficult na maging reality. But in CY Korean, it's palpable. You can really feel it. Hindi kasi katulad yung iba yung vision and mission naka-post lang sa wall. Ours is really a living mission, vision, value statement. And CY Korean is my favorite because from the start, I was there up until now. So I was hands-on. Hindi katulad kasi sa iba na puro sakit na ng ulo yung binigay sa akin, wala nang choice. Dito, it was growth. So it was the perfect vehicle for organizational development. Alright, VP Melissa, you're next na. Jessa, VP, nakataas yung kamay mo eh.
Just to add lang,
Yeah, sorry. Go. Dapat si Franco is a consultant there as well.
just to attest lang no sa Corinne, no, kasi si Isha and Lance invited me once for their annual towns. Basta there was an event no. So I was a personal witness on how happy and grateful the workforce was to management. Kasi there was a portion in that program that people were asked to send their messages to management. It was really overwhelming, heartfelt, na they attributed yung employment nila with Corinne to their own personal successes in life. Because of Corinne, naalagaan yung may sakit na na pamilya. Because of Corinne, nakapagpatayo ng bahay and everything. Kaya very I was I witnessed everything on how management did sa people nila kasi talagang sabi ko iniloko nga si Lance, nakaingit yung company niyo, di ba? na talaga very thankful yung employees nila sa management on how they're being taken care of.
Thanks to the team. Thanks to the team. Marami kasi pinagdaanan eh.
Kapag may opening na daw kami para sa'yo. Hindi, muna.
Papa-free ko rin na tuloy kami niyan.
Ano ba ito? Free advertisement ng Corinne at mag-sponsor ka. Okay, next. Jessa for VP Melissa.
Hindi, add ko lang na ang galing lang ni Isha and Lance because they're starting out right, Sometimes the mistake of organizations, kung meron ng problema, that's wherein they call the HR. I mean, kaya nga marami kayong consultancies ni Franco di ba? Dahil ibig sabihin, all these organizations already committed all the mistakes and that's the time they bring in the HR. So that's where all this dissatisfaction happens, yung retrenchment, dun yung mga masasakit na part na nangyayari is. But I think, I just have to, applaud Lance and Isha that now that they're just grow, they did it right, that may HR agad kasi that's really part of the development. Yun yung mistake nga ng lahat eh. So, I think, lang.
I have to say that kasi may running joke kami ni Franco. When we consulted for one company, tapos sabi niya, Kate Franco, this is just going to be a walk in the park and this is going to be very easy for you. Tapos sabi ni Franco, parang walk in Jurassic Park tong ginawa namin. It was really a second job. Feeling namin kami ni Franco para kaming kumayod para sa kumpanya na to. As in, Franco, pagod na pagod talaga tayo nun. As in, we did not sleep after office. Para na kaming natulog doon. Every Saturdays we spent in that company. Doon na kami nagbe-breakfast, lunch, dinner. talagang, di ba Franco, it was a
Mm.
walking Jurassic Park. Sabi ni VP Melissa. So iba-iba talaga yung experience in organizational development. So talagang you hit it right on the nail. Pag kinuha yung organizational development experts, yung sobrang dami ng problema, talagang Jurassic Park, kagulo na talaga kami.
Ano na ICU level na yan.
Di ba, Franco, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Si Franco, tinataguan na ako niyan. Ayaw na magpakita pag tinatawag na ako. Alam niya na eh. Kaya lang
Nag-awal na.
hindi naman niya hindi magawa yun, di ba? Okay, next, Jessa, please. Thank you. For VP Melissa, ito. Okay.
Good afternoon, ma'am, and to all of the panelists here. My question to is for VP Melissa. What is the biggest challenge towards the expansion of CME? Thank you.
Expansion of CV. Okay. Like what I said, I guess it's selling the plan. Diba? First of all, it starts with the vision. You have to sell the plan to all the stakeholders of CMU so they all agree with you. Any disagreement or any resistance will make things slower. So, of course, nandyan yung faculty, yung admin staff, yung students, na talagang yun yung kailangan ma-convince. And I think one of the biggest challenges was walang face-to-face. It was very difficult. How would we reach our students? It's not possible to even have a student assembly. Our faculty orientation last year was done in batches because our Zoom account is only up to 500 and we have 4,500 students. So it was very hard. I think one of the biggest difficulty was nung ginagawa namin lahat ng organizational transformations na gusto namin mangyari, it was the pandemic. My first day at work at CMU was March 10, I believe. March 10, 2020. And if you remember, the lockdown was March 17. So basically, 7 days pa lang ako nakaupo sa chair ko, nag-lockdown na. So everything you see, like all the facilities and all of those were done na work from home. I think si Franco was sharing kanina na wala talagang respect sa hours kasi nakikita ko rin sarili ko. I was working Saturday, Sunday. Pero hinanda ko na yung sarili ko na basta organization, pag hinire ako for this kind of change, because alam naman ni Kate yun, pinagdaanan na namin to sa former school namin. 6 months yan, walang tulugan talaga. No? So I think, so for me, it was not a challenge anymore. I knew what was coming. But I think the hardest part was convincing the CMU stakeholders that the intention was pure. No, so we're talking about a 27-year-old university. Maybe it was never clear to them the vision of where the university wanted to go. And so throughout the 27 years, a culture of doubt, a culture of mistrust was forming. No, you see it in the students. They're scared to ask questions. They're scared that pag-iinitan sila, there's a culture of mistrust, that there's a culture that we're unprofessional, that there's a bias nga, no? Yesterday kasi I attended the homily of, there's a new seminary that opened here in Malabon. So we were lucky to be invited. I just want to share the homily because I see it's talagang, I think it applies to organizational behavior and organizational transformation. Bishop Ambos said it really well. Sabi niya, it's hard to make a change. It's hard to do good if everybody's already biased. And that's exactly how it felt here at CMU. You know, when you're not wearing glasses, when you're wearing shades, and the color of your shades is dark brown, you look at the world, it's a little bit tinted. But if the shade of your lens is reddish, you look at the world as if it's red. But if you take off your glasses or take off your shades, you see a clearer view. And this is exactly what happened to us last year. So, na talagang everybody was wearing their red, their blue, and their dark shades. So that was the resistance. So, but as long as you're clear with the vision and you're clear with that, tutuloy-tuloy ka pa rin. Because you know, eventually, there will be people who will believe in those in those changes that you want to happen. It's more like an pure intentions, no? So, changes naman, ano yan eh, nangyayari naman yung everyday eh. Kahit kami pa rin yung management, mangyayari pa rin yung change. Kasi your goals for the year changes naman eh. Diba? So, whatever your goal is, you kind of have to adjust. No? So, those little adjustment is still a change. But, tapos, ito lang siguro advice ko sa mga students, no? Kung titingnan nyo ang World Economic Forum, skillsjob.com, ano ba yung mga hinahanap na qualifications? Tanong nyo si Sir Franco ninyo, ano ba yung number one qualifications? A lot of them will always say adaptability. Because change will always happen. Whether there's a new management or not, the goals are changing, the situation is changing really fast. So one thing we have to be adaptable to that. So I think yun siya. So basically, kung 27 years walang ganitong approach nangyari, I think that was the most difficult part. It was convincing the stakeholders. Kayo mga students, ang hirap nyo i-convince. Yung mga faculty na nandito kasama ko, ang hirap i-convince. Ayaw maniwala na pagtatrabahuan namin na on time ang sweldo. So ngayon, I think delayed na lang ng ilang weeks, di ba? At least hindi na months. So, yun, ang hirap i-convince, no? So, but all of them were done last year. So, tapos na, no? Slowly we're stabilizing. But yun, the first part is convincing them. Kaya importante yung banyo talaga na napabango. That was the convincing power.
Thank you, VP Melissa. Tama. All right, Denrick. Denrick, please. Are you
Yes
here?
po. Good afternoon po sa lahat. My question po is para kay Sir Franco po.
Yes, sir.
Sir, tayo po. During the retrenchment, what are the most important things that we need to consider when it comes to handling and motivating the remaining employees? Yun po.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Denrick. Most important thing, for us, we recognize the importance of communication, because when we retrenched people at that time, so 200 out of 2,500 employees, it's important for the leaders to keep communicating with their team members while the process was ongoing, because inevitably fear was there, no? Kami na ba yung next? Ako ba yung susunod? Bakit yung napakagaling kong team member napasama sa retrenchment? So because the process of selecting the employees who will be affected by retrenchment or redundancy was not really based on performance. It was based on the needed position. Kaya it's important for the leaders to keep communicating to their team members to give them assurance that this is a phase that we're going through, and if we do not stick together, worse things could happen. Kasi if all people get affected by the retrenchment, including yung mga na-retain, if they get affected by that, it would manifest in their performance, it would manifest in their attendance, all the more that we will lose the business, because the customers in the US will never be satisfied with the output. Kaya it's important for people to motivate. And then I would say, to reiterate then what VP Melissa shared earlier, na part of the conviction, very important, convincing people really to drive at the mission and vision of the organization. Pero it's also important to make it a personal challenge or a personal how do I say this, goal, to reach that. Kasi I was also a witness when VP Melissa took on the challenge to make significant changes sa CMU. Even some members of the core team who we thought that initially they were into the changes, at some point bigla na lang nawala, no? Pero kung very weak ka, kung mentor ko yon na umalis, maapektuhan ako do sa mentor ko na yun. Kasi if my mentor did not believe in it, aalis din ako, 'di ba? Kaya lang it could be really motivating for VP Melissa at that time, pero she held on to the company's goals na hindi siya napaapekto. Mga former believers to or followers ng ng team ko, umalis sila, it should not shake, it should not I should not be affected at all, no, kasi si VP Melissa stuck on to the goal regardless kung former team members yung mga nawala na. She has to to hold on to the challenge and continue, no. So I guess yung pinaka message na lang, Sir Denrick, ba, na do not rely on do not rely if you believe onto something, do not rely on other people na just because they believe in it, you would also believe in that, no. Make it a personal challenge and a personal goal for yourself, no. Kahit biglang bumaliktad yung mentor mo or yung taong idol mo na naniniwala dati do sa goal na yun, it should not affect you kasi nga it was a personal goal that you made for yourself. Ayun lang, Sir Denrick.
Thank you. Thank you, Franco. Thank you, Denrick. All right, yung next question, pagsamahin natin, no? It's for Isha and Lance. May I call Erica and Kimberly. I'm also teaching my students pala, panelists, how to actually run a training session. So ako yung nag-lead para yung HR, when you want to hire them already, marunong na silang mag-run ng logistics of running HR. So ako yung nasa helm. May I call Erica and Kimberly one after the other? I think this is for Lance and Isha, no?
Yes po, ma'am. Good afternoon po. This question po, Isha. What steps have you taken to overcome obstacles in the company expansion?
Kimberly, ano yung next mong question? Kasi related siya.
Yung discussion pa is for Ma'am Isha and Sir Lance. How can a company like Korean undergo changes without losing their core as they go through the expansion po? Thank you po.
Thank you, Kimberly and Erica. Okay. So, well, connected to the earlier question kanina, we really made sure that HR is in the forefront of any movement that we're doing. So, we're growing, tapos syempre may mga maybe there are some staff that are not fit for the company, both performance-wise or culture-wise. We're a bit contracting a little bit. So what's important for us to be able to work together with HR is that HR must be provided what we need from the staff. So meaning, what is the key position or the roles that we need currently at the moment, and then what are we expecting from that particular with the HR team. It's never them. Kumbaga, they're always just waiting for the management, and that's when we really come in. Na parang we tell them that these are our needs, no, and these are what we want to accomplish. Now, as far as organizational expansion is concerned, the way we work hand in hand with them is that we establish parameters and matrices or things that you can measure. As they say, no, you cannot manage what you cannot measure. So HR helped us na as much, akala natin HR is puro lang complain, grievances, leave, sick leave. For us, we made sure that HR is very empowered, meaning involved sila sa amin. Ngayon, currently, we just kakapasa ko lang ng homework ko, yung ginawa ko yung appraisal ko, meaning I graded the people, my lieutenants under me. Binigyan ko sila ng feedback, saan sila malakas, saan sila mahina. And it's not all just qualitative. Meron ring financial parts. How are they performing compared to the top overall strategic targets of the company? Meaning, ano ba yung sales target? Ano ba yung, or kunyari, siguro para maintindihan nyo for, kunyari, Facebook, how many followers should we have? Ganyan. So, how is this staff performing versus the company's objectives? So, those are the obstacles, no. Again, going back to the change, the obstacle kasi is first understanding na may pagkukulang, meaning maybe dahil we're growing, as you know, we need to know na okay, we can only do this, we want to be here. So hindi naman pwedeng she's doing 100%, ang kunyari magaling ko na staff, she's a star player staff, and then we want to give her more tasks. That's possible. But sometimes they can only take so much. So those are the challenges when you're growing, no? So what we've done is that we've asked HR to actually give us understudies para we try to multiply those star players. So as you see here, when we're growing and going to Kimberly's question, how do you not lose the core without losing the core as you go through the expansion? What's important for us is, again, going back to VP Melissa's input kanina, she said it's a matter of finding the right team. When we were 5 people, I was very proud of that team. Sabi ko, kahit 5 lang tao mo, basta tama yan, gagalaw yan. And then it reached a point na we had to grow. May mga na-burn out ng konti dahil dati nagbebenta lang kami sa website namin in Instagram. Ngayon, we have to deal with uh, the the demands of big companies like Handyman, True Value. May mga promos, campaigns sila that we have to prepare, ganyan. So nagiging, it was hard to juggle even for our star players. So what we found important was to keep the core, which is a high-performing team, an honest team, a dynamic team who's supporting each other. It's important for the management for us to be there always to make sure that they're running the way we want them to run. Kasi yung HR naman, they will only respond also based on how we find it eh. So pag may nararamdaman kami, kailangan ibato na namin sa HR. Parang feel ko parang they're not motivated or feel ko parang they're not performing as much. So meaning you have to know what you want. Kailangan alam mo yung as a leader, you have to know what you want for your team, no? So yun. And then the team, the core, meaning a high performing team, you need to ask the help of these core star players as well because you want to multiply them eh. So it's not automatic, no, na porket magkapangalan, magkaitsura, magkaugali, akala mo it's automatic na. It's not usually the case, no? So kailangan handhold mo sila, you have to ask their help, their buy-in, maybe asking for their recommendations kung sinong sa tingin nila yung pwedeng tumulong. And then really, expanding them. And the term is the understudy. Kasi when you're expanding, you need that. Whether umalis or ma-promote, you have a person who will take charge of that department or position na hindi mapipilay. Kasi as you're expanding, lumalaki, you don't want it to be a house of cards na pag may natanggal, guguho na kahit mawal. And I remember also, when you say core, one of the since we started really small, one of the very very nice call it culture or attitude of our staff was that they were able and willing to multitask. Hindi sila maselan sa binibigay nilang trabaho. So we wanted to make sure that that type of attitude is still alive from when we were 5 to now we are 50. That's important, and that's when HR and management go hand in hand when it comes to trying to make sure that the core, as you said, is there. Na at the end of the day, mga tao to, may mga emotions sila, may mga pangarap sila. You have to establish is the company's objective and dreams aligned with the dreams ng tao mo. Yan, lagi namin silang iniimbita na parang ang kumpanya namin, we're growing, we have an objective. If you think your dreams can be met dito sa kumpanya namin, then you're welcome to join us in this journey. Yun lagi na sinasabi namin. And so those are the things that help overcome the obstacles. No? The obstacles are always there. But yun nga eh. So it's a nice thing to be used to change. And in fact, sometimes big companies' mistake is to be comfortable na and takot na sa change because they're so established, nasanay na sila na this is the only way at pamamaraan maging successful, kumita. Pero when things happen, whether good or bad, hirap sila to adjust. So in fact, change must be something that you're used to because if you really want to grow exponentially, it's something that you're going to have to deal with all the time. So, okay.
Yeah. So in terms of vision naman, I think in the end, it still sums up to what Sir Lance was saying that, everything should be envisioned already by the management, and that cascades to the HR all the time. So once we know our vision, we're able to set that out not to the HR and let them know that these are the parameters we want for our employees, and this is where they can grow and where we can grow with them. And So exactly that. Know what you want for your team, and what and to see whether they're the right fit for us, and to always keep that in check. Like, as management, it's so important to just keep them in check, and check whether their culture, or the way that they think, and the way that they value, even the way that they work, is aligned. That, I don't know how many alignment meetings we had this year or last year, but because nga we're all work from home. It's a work from home setup, and so we even invite the HR to accompany us, because they in the end, they're the ones who check whether this alignment is really happening or not.
Guys,
Yeah.
that's a very innovative format in CY Korean. In other companies kasi, yung HR is just a department. Kami, we are in every function. So there's a marketing meeting, HR or dev is there. May finance meeting, nandun si HR. Parang HR is decentralized. Everybody is actually performing organizational development in HR. We really decentralize it. Hindi kami parang we're there already. Pag merong new product launch, we're there already. HR and org dev is mandated to know the latest promos when there are. So we're everywhere. Para kaming veins talaga. And that is an innovation because not all companies allow that access. But that's very important because when HR and OD is in every functional area, then HR and OD will recommend better, 'di ba? So, all right, thank you. Okay, I'm going to take the last question. This is for everybody. The question is from Professor Ariel Likodan. For those of you who don't know, Professor Ariel was my classmate sa post-baccalaureate ko sa human resource. No? So we've also been friends for 15 years. And nung nagpahanap si VP Melissa, so Professor Ariel is here. Professor, do you want me to read o ikaw na magtanong? Professor Ariel, ako na? Ako na yata. All right, sige. So to the three panelists and to the couple, no, how will the organizational change help in achieving the business objectives? Let's be very specific. I think this is sales, managing of expenses, no? And what are the benefits? Kasi business objectives are very clear. So how will the organizational change help in achieving the business? VP Melissa, let's ask you first, and then followed by Franco, and then
Wow. Well, I think organizational change will, first of all, let's say if you didn't need a big transformation for your organization, every year you set goals for yourself, or you set goals for the organization, then obviously you need a little bit of changes. But of course, in sa amin, it's very clear, no? In terms of operations, in terms of marketing, um, yung sa CMU kasi para kami nag-open ng bagong school. Maybe because we're a government university. So yung practices ng private hindi pa talaga nangyayari sa local. And I think the vision was very clear to us. We're going to surpass all expectations of CMU because the vision was not to be a well-run CMU, but the vision was to have a well-run local university in terms of elevating it the standard for the whole landscape. Parang yun yung mataas na vision namin. So with that vision alone, of course, you started creating goals for yourself. And we never had a marketing, a planning, or a communications department at all. Now, there's actually a department that all they do is just upload in Facebook and Twitter, maintain the website, and answer all inquiries. And that's their only job. This kind of job description doesn't exist in City Hall even, di ba? Kasi nga we're government and we're even pushing the envelope. We're even pushing the envelope even more by being the second local university which will become a local economic enterprise. Because we don't want to be tied, our hands are so tied with how civil service dictates. Kasi right now, for the information of everybody, kasi everybody's in private, CMU is considered as a department in City Hall. So, ibig sabihin, kung ano yung mandate ng civil service sa City Hall, yun din ang nag-a-apply sa local university. That's why it's very important for us that by the end of 2021, we become a local economic enterprises. So we can dictate the positions. Ibig sabihin, our professors here don't even have the title of professor. Kasi sa plantilla ng City Hall, ang tawag sa kanila is either assistant department head or admin aide 3, environmental officer, pretty much ganon siya. No? Um, so basically, to answer your question, it answers many things. No? It's not only business goals, but in terms of how you do your operations, how your culture will change. Kasi dala yun eh, no? How the culture will change, how, I think that's the most important thing is culture also. And how you will plan ahead. No? So the organizational is very, kumbaga, we're laying the groundwork for phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and phase 5. So, if you don't get it right now, hindi kami parang kung hindi matibay yung loob namin, then wala nang phase 2, wala nang phase 3, di ba? So basically, it supports beyond goals, no? It supports beyond goals because it will, the change that you're doing will dictate promotion for all the companies that you are consulting, because that's the goal, di ba? Yun parang sinasabi ng president namin eh. We're not out to become the number one university. We're not out to become the best university. But we will be the number one university that is a workforce supplier. That's it. No? So, and that's the ambition. Very simple, akala mo babaw dahil hindi the best, pero napakahirap gawin na ang 100% of the graduates will be 100% employed within 3 months. That's a very difficult target for us. Of course, we negotiated with the president that impossible 3 months, no? It's pwede 1 year. Kasi hindi namin pwedeng drastic. But, so for me, I guess it depends on which organization you belong to. But it doesn't only change the organization alone, it can change actually the industry. No? So basically, the changes we're doing with CMU is not only changing CMU, it's actually changing the landscape of education for local universities and colleges. Siyempre, yun yung inaaral ko ngayon sa Harvard, di ba? So, it's making the change in the industry, not only in your organization. So, I think yun lang yung sasabihin ko, no, kay Professor Ariel, no? For every organizational change, look beyond like the way Lance and Isha is doing now. Pretty soon, Zone Rocks, Mr. Muscle will probably follow with a product similar to Corinne. Because the entry of Corinne will never be alone. Diba? If True Value and Ace Hardware took notice of you, your competitors are not far behind. No, they're probably looking for the competitor of Korean Water in Japan, and probably it will be brought in by Unilever or Procter and Gamble. No, because nagkaroon ng market eh. Diba? So basically, the things that Lance and Ish is doing, it's not only growing their company. They're actually making a mark in that industry, in the cleaning industry, the cleaning materials industry. So, yun lang yun sa akin. No? So, when you do organizational changes, organizational transformation, it's not only your organization. You're creating a benchmark for the industry that you belong.
Thank you, VP Melissa. Franco?
All right, yeah. So thank you for that also, VP Melissa. No? Well, yung organizational changes would really benefit. Although the situation was unfortunate when we had to make changes in the organization, like let go of people. It was unfortunate. But as Miss Melissa, VP Melissa mentioned earlier, it's a cultural change also. Leaders should influence all members of the organization to remain optimistic, to be more creative, and in fact, in our organization, bright ideas. There was a program that when bright ideas are submitted, they are incentivized. So I guess that would support also what VP Melissa mentioned, it would change the industry. It would change how things are being done. Siguro without the organizational changes, our processes, our policies will remain. But because of the organizational changes, processes were reviewed to make it leaner. No? Kasi nga, we let go of people. Kaya people are trained to perform other roles, not really to spread them thinly, but to equip themselves with more skills, with more knowledge, to also to perform other jobs as a to make the business more sustainable. Because we would not know when the next retrenchment or redundancy would happen again. At least, diba, people are prepared that when that happens, and if ever, diba, it's time for them to seek other opportunities elsewhere, then the skills that they learn from the organization will help them survive also, even if it's not in the organization. So basically, yun nga, people will learn more. People their careers grow, they progress if because of these organizational changes.
Thank
Yun
you. You
lang,
know,
Miss Kate.
yung sinabi ni Franco, the perfect word to describe that is whether you stay with us or not, you remain to be employable. Yung employability mo is something that we can contribute to your well-being, whether you are here with us or you leave Franco's company. This is the contribution. So, or imagine niyo, no, it goes all the way to the family. Yung bulsa ng mga pamilya is what HR and OD aims to achieve. Thank you, Franco. All right, Lance and Isha, your turn.
Okay, I'll answer this in a very practical way. Professor Ariel, no? So, how will organizational change help in achieving business objectives? Okay. So, I will compare this to lahat tayo dito food people. Meron kaming favorite na kami ng brother ko, minomotor pa siya namin pre-pandemic sa may Retiro. Famous doon yung beef pares, no? And this beef pares, mo yung pamilya, yung owners, yung tatay, nanay, tas yung mga anak, andun sila. And kita mo, sa sobrang laki nila, yung 4 floors, yung bahay nila nasa 4th floor, tapos yung 3 floors, ginawa ng expansion ng beef pares. Aircon na nga sa 2nd floor. Sa baba, ano lang, counter lang.
And kung ano yung favorite natin na pares.
Retiro.
Retiro pares siya.
I'm happy for their family. Nakikita mo, may bagong, yung tatay, may bagong Fortuner, ganyan. No? So you can really see na it's providing well for their family. No? But you see, it's really the expansion of the children, a little bit of growth on the staffs to be able to cater to the 2nd floor and 3rd floor. No? But that's the key idea. Kasi I can also be comfortable in a way na we're hitting this type of market, ganito na kadami yung volume namin, happy na ako. Mapapaaral ko na yung mga anak ko, mabibili ko na yung gusto kong bilhin, and we can just be as is or status quo. Magaling naman, gumagana naman, ito na, itutuloy-tuloy ko na lang to. I won't do anything. That's one path and that's okay if you have that type. Pero ang problema, kung katulad mo ko na malaki ang pangarap, organizational change will be the one to help me hit my objectives. Just last night, and even today, I was talking to my brother who's also my partner and my partners in the US. May pangarap din kami to be international. May pangarap as the Melis was saying, yes, the big brands will be looking into it for sure with competition. We want to be ready. Whether it's local, we want to be ready. When they come in, what will we do? How will we react? Kung magbaksak sila ng presyo, how can we react? So, in effect, parang we can just be that cute mom and pop's website na naging very successful and just operating from the garage. Or we can implement these organizational changes in terms of growth and really achieve what we've set out to do, because nasa dugo naming pamilya namin, idol ko yung parents ko who started with 7 sewing machines to reach around 700 to 1,000 sewing machines now that they're about to retire, no? Catering, producing literally, no, billions of garments products, no? So medyo nasa dugo namin yun eh. So yun yung naturo sa amin, no? So that therefore, Prof, that's the idea na if we do not equip ourselves, if we do not expand ourselves from, and even for me, I balance it now having from year one, phase one, 2 employees, year three, 50 employees. I have to constantly balance it out. Paano makihalubilo ngayon sa bigger crowd? When do I step in and micromanage? When do I step back and let them do it? But the organizational change helps me to be able to not be the same leader nung dalawa pa lang, ngayon na 50 na. At the same time, you see that my generals, my lieutenants will also adjust their management styles so that we will be able to hit pretty much. Our growth targets for the year is the same as last year, which is exponential, no? Mataas po siya. So it's really about the opportunities that you want to take advantage of without belittling yung idol namin at sobrang fit na parang just okay, di ba? Pero kami, we want to be in Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. We want to be in Asia Pacific. We want to be in Europe. We want to be in the US. So if without the change that we want, then things won't happen na kami lang. So you want to get people even better than you. You want to get consultants who can help you have an extra pair of eyes in all angles para things are all bases are covered. So that's it for me.
Thank
I think he
you.
covered pretty
All
much
right.
everything.
So, ang swerte ng mga students ko, very insightful across all industries and situations. And kilala niyo ako, VP Melissa and Franco, they know, napaka-stickler ko sa time, lalo na when I run trainings. Alam ni VP Melissa yan, from very first minute to the last. So, I think my students are very, very lucky to have attended this, and we want to thank you. So I would like to ask now yung three panelists na-view ninyo for my org dev class, no? Medyo na-scan ninyo yung kanilang elevator pitch. And kung may masabi lang kayo, first to the org dev class. Because in 2 years time, sila na talaga yung human resource practitioners. So we will end this seminar sa tatlong word of advice from those who have been there, are there, and who will be there. All right, VP Melissa, let's start with you sa aking org dev class. Also, my nego classes here, no, yung graduating, but in particular to my human resource class na tinuturuan ko talagang maging industry practitioners for organizational development. Thank you, VP.
Puro ako talaga yung first, no?
Oo, oo talaga.
Parang mahirap talaga na-aapi. Anyway,
ikaw na kasi para kumukuha na ng sagot si Franco tsaka sila Lance. Kaya kami lagi.
Copy-paste na lang kami.
By age ata to eh. No, but word of advice no, for first of all, change is not a bad thing. It's not negative. Like what Lance and Isha was explaining, they're going through so many organizational transitions. You can call it transformation or change. It's because they're growing, no? Every stage they might be one of the biggest companies. No? So I think as you grow, talagang you really need those organizational change. Yung una ko sasabihin sa inyo, para siguro maintindihan yung organizational change, ito yung baduy side ko, manood kayo ng Itaewon class. Si Kate di naniniwala sa K-drama. Pero sinasabi ko sa inyo, there's so much insights in that K-drama because they started so small into a small K-pop and then it grew. It has so many HR components in it.
My defense, lagi namin pinagtatalunan magkaibigan. In my defense, lagi natin pinagtatalunan yan. Di ba, I'm taking up law school. Ipapabasa mo pa sa akin yung translation. I read 1,000 pages a week. So lagi namin pinagtatalunan yan kasi gusto niya akong mapanood ng yan, yung kanyang obsession for K-drama. Lagi niya ako pinapagalitan. Ako naman parang, Melis, pwede ba? Para manood pa ako tas magbasa. So yan, in my defense, kaya ayoko manood ng K-drama.
But for this HR class, I think you should and write a reflection paper on it, on those lessons. But I guess one advice would be work ethic. You're all gonna soon be working. I think the most important is work ethic. You'll be experiencing many company cultures, iba't ibang ugali. But I think the most important is work ethic. yung meron kang paninindigan. Hindi yung parang aktivista style. Hindi ganun yun. Magkaiba yun. Don't misquote me or don't misunderstand me. Ibig sabihin, when I was starting in life, my salary was only 5,000 pesos. I was working for Santis Delicatessen. And I would eat also in the same canteen where all the workers are. Talagang walang preferential treatment, no? And kahit maliit yung sweldo, you took it on as something na, ako, parang naisip ko lang yun, okay, I need to do this because one day I want to make a name for myself for this industry. Just the same with the former organization I was with. Kahit hindi ko trabaho, tapos pinagawa sa akin, gagawin ko. Not because, not because gusto mo magbida, because always think about it that it's your audition for something bigger. It has always been my work ethic. Your first job will not be your last job. But then your first job and the habits you form, the ethics you form, the traits and culture is so important for your second job or for your end game job. There's always going to be that job that you will make a name for yourself. And it's hardly going to be the first job. In fact, the first job is you're probably still confused what you want in life. Believe me, whatever college degree you graduate in, it's never clear cut. No? So always think about that. Use it to hone your skills. And kumbaga, kung marami kang boss, you get the best practices from them. Matuto ka doon. Kung pinapagalitan ka nila, isipin mo yun, ano yung maganda sa ginawa nila or sa hindi maganda. At ang pinagdaanan ng managers, even your professors right now, you pick up a style that you want, na feeling mo sukat sa personality mo. So you start honing yours. You don't become, Franco was saying about mentorship, no? You don't become the duplicate of your mentor, but you become the better version. It's because you did not only get one style, you don't become a copycat, you experience various culture, you experience various bosses, various professors, and you pick up nice traits from them and you combine it, and that's going to be your own recipe of what managers you will be or what kind of leader you will be. And I think yun lang, you have to define your work ethic. Never work for money. Money is just the byproduct. But always work because you feel fulfilled and you feel that there's a purpose. Mahirap magtrabaho kung pera lang yung hinahabol natin. It's not a good motivation. I know financially we're all challenged, no? We are. I know that. That's always, you will always need money. Money is not everything. Money is a lot of things, but it's not everything. And it's definitely not the most important thing. So I think you should find fulfillment, you should find purpose, and yung panglaban mo talaga is the strong work ethic. Konti na lang ang ganong workers. I tell you, I'm sure si Franco tsaka si Kate, si Lance, as they're growing their companies, there's a shortage. There's really a shortage of workforce with strong work ethic. Puro ngayon is wala nang multitaskers. Kung ano yung trabaho, yun lang ang gagawin, no? In all levels, no? That's why para sana maintindihan nyo bakit marami kaming ginagawa sa CMU to work towards that. Because that is, when you say what the industry demands, more than they need 6 engineers, 20 CPAs, more than those profession, the number one is always good work ethic, somebody flexible, somebody adaptable. A lot of it is, yung tinatawag nila hybrid employees, multitaskers. So more than the degree you're going to graduate with, it's the skills, the work ethic, and yung pag-uugali is what will make you land that job. And the best part about it is it's what's going to land you to get pirated by that bigger company. That's why think about it. When you work in because there will always be a company scouting for good talent. And yun, always make yourself piratable. Bata pa kayo eh. Pag mga 40s, stability na hanapin nyo. The 20s, 30s, piratable pa kayo lahat. Gumalaw kayo as you please, di ba? Then you make a name for yourself. So parang for me, started with a good work ethic. So I think yun lang yung advice ko sa organizational dev class mo. The negotiations, that's another topic. Kasi mahaba yan. Galing ako mag-negotiate. Yung 1 million, napapagawa kong 150,000.
Oh,
So,
totoo yan.
dyan.
Pagka negotiation si Melissa, pinapahandle ko dyan. All right. Thank you so much, Franco, to my class or dev class.
First of all, thank you for taking time, no? Working on those pitches. I think there were 8 groups. Tama ba, Miss Kate? No? Yeah. Being detailed in coming up with those business strategies that they proposed. No? May mga SWOT analysis and then the interventions. Siguro, to keep it short lang, yung advice ko lang dito, keep that same level of enthusiasm when it's time for you to measure the impact now of what you have proposed. So very important sa lahat lang na when you make proposals or when you make changes, so come up with a very robust what do you call this, yung measuring tool, kung ito yung former sales niya and then after sales, after the interventions. So not just in the business, for all businesses to set their goals and also make their employees aware of those goals. After letting them know of those goals, or for the employees to embrace those goals, measure naman their performance to go against sa what you are expecting from them. Sayang kasi yung sales pitches or the pitches that you shared with us, if we do not measure what's going to happen in the end. So follow through lang, keep it going.
Thank you, Franco. Ikaw na yung sumagot ng question ni Professor Jazz. Sabi niya, when pandemic is over and face-to-face is allowed, will you still retain the work from home setup? If so, what departments and why? Kasi kayo yung may pinakamadami.
Okay, Professor Jazz, thank you for the question. To be perfectly honest with everybody here, the business I cannot say for the rest, but specifically for the BPO company, based on studies pa rin sa ng management, it's really it's still more cost efficient if people go back to the office. Mas cost efficient pa rin siya. Sasabihin ng iba, hindi ba nakatipid kayo sa rental ng buildings if you let your people work from home instead? Hindi pa rin, kasi yung dating computer, single unit ng computer that's being shared by 3 employees because of the 3 shift schedules. Pag work from home, it's 1:1 na. So the company has to purchase more computers, delivery. Not only that, we also have to spend connectivity allowances for the employees. So bottom line is still more cost efficient if people go back to the office. Kaya lang, we can learn from what we have experienced, kasi there are so many advantages also when people work from home. Kaya baka key positions na lang, and we will review the demographics. Siguro employees who are located from far places or who reside from far places, baka sa kanila lang ibigay yung work from home setup. But for those working within the vicinity, then it's more practical for them to work in the office instead.
Thank you, Franco.
I hope I answered the question, Professor.
I think you did well. Yan yung tinuturo ko lagi sa mga org dev students ko. They have to have yung, ang tawag dito, yung pag inambush ka ng question, para kang naka-ready. And alam mo, pag inambush ka, kailangan ano ka dito, Miss Universe ka na marunong kang sumagot. That is the trait of a good HROD person, no? Yung because you're so in tune to the business, kahit hindi mo naman talaga napaghandaan, you're so there kapag may tinanong, even if it's not, Franco, even if it's not your department, because really hindi naman talaga tayo yung magde-decide, di ba? It's really going to be management. You at least have an input because HR is everywhere.
I can see right, Professor Jess. Thank you, Professor Jess.
All right. Lance and Isha, yun na, last
super
and final.
To address also kay Professor, small company naman, we both saw also more than I saw ang ganda nung kay Franco because the cost is something you have to really consider, no. But for us, we realize that there are benefits of working from home, time with the family. That's part of our values, that we're very family oriented, very important to us. Birthday ng anak mo, asawa mo, how the health and happiness of everyone. We acknowledge that. I personally, as the boss, have more dinner times with my family and my kids, playtime, and then I get to work, and then I get to do that. No, nakakapagpahinga, less time, less travel. Those are benefits. But we also acknowledge that there are just times that we see na meron, no matter the support of HR, you're always trying to align, meron pa rin mga bagay that you need to see each other and talk, especially like brainstorming ideas where you have to see the reaction of the people. Are they nodding? Are they sad? And not, spontaneous ideas that you wanna, So parang for us, we most likely, God willing, matigil na tong pandemic na to, and everybody's healthy, we will most likely are excited to implement and speaking from the management side, a type of setup. Is that Wednesdays are actually off days. So parang that's the day na yung iba nagbi-make. So we found that to be in the middle of the week. Hindi ka burnt out by Friday, and then you even have time to go on a Saturday, in fact. And we saw that as a very nice setup. And now somewhat we're seeing na, we're not, and yun, sabi ni Franco kanina, work-life balance must be but I think a hybrid setup can be done eventually, no? Na the benefits of being with the family, of not having to travel 1 hour, 2 hours a day, may benefits yun eh. Pero importante pa rin yung face-to-face because at the end, human resource, human development is a people, a company is a people thing, no? We're not just a bunch of machines doing something. So to answer, very quickly lang on the business side advice naman, we passed through a lot of the videos and thank you for that. So what you have to be sure of is that don't make organizational change for the sake of making organizational change. I think as a young entrepreneur, my mistake before was I hired for the sake of hiring. Hindi ko verify kung kailangan ko ba yon at kung mababayaran ko ba yon. Yung sabihin, kunyari, nag-hire ako ng secretary para pogi. So, yun yung mga mistakes ko nung early 20s ko. No? So, but it's important to make sure that you are attuned with the market. What value are you giving to the market? To the anong pinupush mong product, anong binibenta mo? Nakakatulong ba siya? Is it addressing yung natutunan namin sa mga professors namin, yung MADC ba yun? What is is it addressing what is missing, what is annoying, what is disappointing? 'Di ba? Sabi ni VP Melis, pangit yung toilet, it's an opportunity, 'di ba? It's disappointing. Now, people will see ang bango-bango. May tissue, may sabon, 'di ba? Malinis lagi, walang amoy. So, make sure that don't do business for the sake of doing business. Don't hire people for the sake of hiring people. So in a way, dapat you are excited about an opportunity, 'di ba? Just to compare, if you ba ako, ng sweldo, 'di ba? So kasi we can also grow in that side na we can really be very good in as a corporate person, 'di ba? So that's it, no? So make sure that in whether you're the business side or sa HR side, make sure that it's aligned. Meron kayong pinagtatrabahuhan. It's very top level. Try nyo, and even if you're not management, try to understand what the company is going for. Because as management in HR, when the management sees na itong bagong graduate, entry level rank, naiintindihan niya yung objective ng company, naiintindihan niya yung kahit anong liit ng posisyon niya is working towards the objective of the company, nakikita yun ng management, and then you have an opportunity to grow and even be promoted. No? So, yun lang, yun yung advice. Yun ang masasabi ko.
With your teka,
ako pa? Di ba si Kuya yung ini-invite
ni? Diba? Pagka atin, bilis mo daw.
Busy po, busy mag-expand.
Wait, may
Oh, sige, go ahead.
wonder, what's their opinion about the Twitter, about the Ateneo graduate was offered a 37,000 entry-level salary and she refused it because she said she's worth 60,000.
Wait, on her defense, I actually know the HR person. May inside story ako lagi. Okay.
Ano,
So,
ano yung opinion
sige
nila?
mamili tayo. Denrick, sino ba yung mga hindi pa nagtanong? Sino ba? Tinatanong kayo ni VP. Ano daw yung opinion niyo sa Twitter? Franz, ikaw na lang. Franz, nandyan ka ba? Jasmine, ikaw na lang. Jasmine Lopez, dalian mo. Sagutin mo si VP. Diba may tweet na I will not accept this position because 30,000 is very low. I am worth 60,000 pesos. So who wants to answer? Anyone? O pag daw nag-answer, di na magka-finance. Nego class. Meron ba, guys?
Bibigyan ni Professor Kate ng extra points sa midterms.
Ayan. Sige. Okay, sino? Anyone from my class? Ayaw. Takot sa'yo, VP. Blessy, who wants to answer? Jurel. Okay, Jurel, wait. First of all, class, are you aware of that issue? Yung may nag-Twitter. Baka naman hindi ninyo alam
Hindi
na.
po.
Okay. So baka hindi nga nila alam. O sino dito yung aware man lang na merong kumalat na Twitter na ayaw niyang tanggapin yung position because 30,000 pesos is too low for me. I am worth 60,000 pesos entry level. Meron bang nakakita ng issue na yon? You have to be abreast. Sino? Denrick. Okay, go ahead.
Nabasa ko rin po yun sa
game.
Twitter. May two sides po ako para doon. First po na side ko is, syempre nagtrabaho po tayo sa college. Pinagpaguran po natin yung mga courses na, yung mga subject na tinik natin. Kaya alam po natin yung mga kakayahan natin. Na alam natin yung 30,000 na sahod is hindi para sa atin kasi alam natin na mas may kakayahan pa tayo sa mga ganun at may deserving po tayo sa malaking sahod. And sa isang side naman po, as nag-start pa lang po tayo, kailangan maging aware po tayo sa mga ganong sahod na syempre kailangan din po natin mag-grow at madami rin po tayong matututunan kahit ganun lang po yung.
Okay, thank you, Denrick. I have Marvin from my negotiable instruments class. Sige, Marvin, go ahead.
Po, ma'am, opinion ko lang po. Para po sa akin, karapatan po nung employee na kung tingin niya worth 60,000 siya, pero karapatan din po ng employer na i-negotiate po yung price na yun. Since kung baguhan ka pa lang naman po, paano mo po mapapatunayan yung skills mo kung wala ka pang na-experience na trabaho? Ang mapapatunayan mo lang, napag-aralan mo yung mga theoretical, pero yung application, hindi mo pa talaga nagagawa kung worth mo ba talaga yung 60,000 na yun.
Kaya daw yung
po.
turo ni Professor Alano sa isang negotiable instrument, galingan mo is this instrument negotiable or not? Okay, Marvin? So, susunod sa finals, kailangan panisin mo na yung exams ko. All right, so thank you very much. My co-professors are here. Sobrang last minute namin nag-invite. We were full house. We were 100 at 2 classes here. You know, Professor Melissa, this is the beauty of having industry practitioners. I just want to flex that. In a university na puro, because she started inviting industry practitioners, sobrang bilis naming maghatak ng people who are actually working in the industry. And to me, there is tremendous value in a workshop like this rather than magle-lecture ako for 6 sessions talking about businesses. Here, kasi we can already compare what is real, what is not real. And sinabi ko nga sa students ko, this is again an addition to their CV. So we would like to thank the wonderful panelists who cannot say no to me at all times. I think yun Parang family and loved ones. Hindi naman makahindi. But my students really benefited. And I'm sure yung panelists natuto rin from each other. Kasi iba-iba tayo ng industry and situation. But really, for love of God and country, this is what we can give them, yung time. Thank you, Professor Josh, for the heart. Thank you, Professor Ariel, my co-professors sa negotiable instrument classes here. Thank you, Corinne, for the Zoom, for the Zoom. Thank you, Franco, Lance, Isha, and of course, thank you so much, VP Melissa. We hope to hold more events like this so that paglabas ng mga estudyante natin, they are well versed in what really happens in the real world. So that ends our class, our session for today. I'm 2 minutes early. Guys, meron ba kayo? Anyway, let's take a photo. Yung 2 minutes pala is to take a photo. Everybody who wants to join yung video, you turn on your video if you want to join the all right, I'll take. So basta pag naka-open, naka-turn on, sorry, turn on yung video. All right? I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3. Next. 1, 2, 3. Next. 1, 2, 3. Right. And last. 1, 2, 3. All right. VP Melissa, are you proud na yung pinili ng mga students natin are local, almost local businesses
Yes, I was
from
going to
Malabon?
say thank you so much for choosing businesses in Malabon. I think it will help these local businesses alone. I think the whole Malabon business community na shocked, diba? Especially napili pa nila mga iba food outlets. Pareho kami ni Lance yung feeling namin sa food. It's so difficult right now.
PTSD ang dalawa na yan.
I don't ever want to go back. Good luck to them.
Yan. So,
I do not miss it at all. I do not miss my restaurant life. Not at all, no? It was so tired.
Ako na lang yung iniwan nila na nasa food, but it's completely different. Hindi yung pang food cost. All right, Franco, thank you so much. For the
Yes,
time.
thank you very much. Of course.
Diba? Lance, thank you so much.
Today. We learned also. Thank you.
Ready na ba kayo to be faculty, Franco?
Students, meet your professors, professor. Professor Isha, Professor Frank.
Organizational change na nangyayari dito.
On the spot.
Recruitment ang nangyayari ngayon. Recruitment to. Hindi pa
Hindi alam. Ano kayo, teaching demo kayo kay VP.
May pasado ba?
Okay.
I want to share with you my dissertation. Sabi ni Marvin Mayorga, hired na. But my dissertation for my PhD, the one I'm arguing about, is to really introduce a third classification for our local colleges and universities, which is called guest lecturer. Because masyado na yung discrimination sa HR, ayaw nila i-hire ang local universities and colleges. Puro state universities and private colleges and universities. Pero pagdating sa LUC, napaka-konti ng percentage. So that's why
we hire local university.
Kaya pinupush ko talaga na i-adapt ng CHED yung policy na magkaroon ng guest lecturers sa lahat ng LUC. Kailangan kahit walang masters. Pero for example, presidente ng Malayan Bank, never siya nagka-masters. Pero napalaki naman niya ng ilang branches.
Ako nakikita ko ba? Ikaw yung pinapatamaan.
Hindi, tingnan mo, si Gawad Kalinga, Tony Meloto, may masters pa siya. Nag-grow naman niya ng napakalaki. I-argue mo pa ba yun? Si Mang Inasal. Nabenta niya ng 3 billion sa Jollibee. Hindi siya nag-master's degree. Wala ba siyang right magturo? Experiential learning, di ba? So, it's kasi yung definition ngayon ng team teaching, guest speaker lang si practitioner. Ito yung ginagawa. You have counseling, you have the direct, you mentor these students, diba? Talagang it gives them a better shot in life. Yun talaga yung pinapaglaban ko na yung LUC, hindi masyadong discriminatory. Isa lang yung Corinne, hindi naman niya ma-hire yung 1,000 graduates ko every year. dapat lakihan mo pa, Lance. Magbukas ka pa ng isa. Ma-hire mo lahat.
Yun. So guys, thank you. For those who have
God willing, we will hire everyone, di ba? Ganon ka din katindi.
Which reminds me, ipa-plug ko lang, kaming dalawa ni Franco ay speaker, na in-invite resource speaker for this Saturday. for those who want to attend. Ewan ko ba, hindi ba nagsasawa to si VP Melissa sa pagmumukha namin. Ni Franco
Ano
lang.
yun? Maganda yan sa Saturday kasi most students, they really ask for advice as they look for a job. So talagang ano lang siya, it's a session of them, it's tips and techniques na parang how do they form their cover letter, parang meron pa nga, you can even practice them yung questions na ina-ask you during interview, how will they, parang Miss Universe style lang yan eh, nagtitrain ka lang for beauty, their beauty pa. Miss Universe, syempre they're very nervous, di ba? Tapos ngayon, it's so hard to make an impression kasi ang interview mo Zoom, hindi naman in person, di ba? So, sabi ko mas matipid ngayon eh, kasi gagastos mo lang yung top. Gagastos ng shoes. Di ba? Nung first interview natin, bibili ka pa ng bagong sapatos before, di ba?
Oo.
Pumila wala na yung, ganoon ako katanda, wala na yung Mandarin Hotel. My first job interview was in Mandarin Hotel. Pumila pa ako doon sa Captain's Lounge.
Oo, diba? At least Captain's Lounge. Ako nga sa Rustans, as in sa basement ako. Kasi,
Diba?
na-experience.
Kasi bibili mo pa yung stockings mo.
Totoo.
So, it's ano lang yun. So, those students need guidance lang for those questions. Kaya, we're excited for the new faculty members.
Ayan, si Professor Lance Kapulong.
Yeah, so
Siya Kapulong, Professor Franco Lopez.
Grabe.
I hope you can join us.
Ibang klaseng, itong ibang very unique interview process na experience ko today.
It's ano naman eh, trimester. So it's just for, we're switching to trimester eh. Now, this is the last year na semestral kami. Next year, it's starting August, we're trimester. Because the goal, ang magiging first semester, ito tingnan nyo to, HR. Makinig kayo dito sa organizational changes na ginagawa sa lahat ng kliyente ninyo. Because nagkakaproblema tayo sa academic calendar, sa accounting calendar. Nag-uumpisa ng January, nagko-close tayo ng books ng December. Challenge siya ng lahat ng schools kasi hindi siya tugma sa academic year. Pero wala naman nagsasabi na bawal na ang first semester sa January mag-umpisa. Tapos ang summer vacation and Christmas vacation, buong December na. Sino ba nagsabi bawal yun? Dahil nakasanayan. But nobody dared question, what will change with the quality of education? In fact, operations will even be better because pantay na yung closing of books sa closing of academic year. It makes things easier. Hindi ko naman alam sa mga napakatalino dyan sa mga policymakers, ba't di maisip yun, di ba? But in CMU, we're working towards that. So this year, we're starting August. Next year, we're starting July until we start our first semester on January. And your whole December, we won't see you the whole December. That's your summer vacation. That's your Christmas vacation. Quality life ng pamilya din ng mga employees. Din naman si Lance. Kaya nga magturo ka na pareho yung mga morals natin tsaka values eh.
Magkaibigan talaga kami mga oo, right? Tsaka yung mga hustler na ayaw pero biglaan na lang. Magkaibigan talaga tayo.
Happier employees will be happier customer service for our students. Imagine the whole month of December, students walang pasok, employees walang pasok. They can really spend, imagine the most important holiday with their families. So January, tapos we end November. So we're just, of course, wala nang classes. December, we're closing na the books. December 16, wala na kaming work kasi close na namin yung accounting books. Nag-file na kami.
Guys, ang tawag dyan, orientation to new faculty members, Professor Lopez, tsaka Professor Kapul. Professor Kapul.
Actually, lahat ng mga, alam mo, lahat ng mga in-interview ko from University Makati, they will come in as part-time. After I interview them, they apply for full-time. Sabi nila, para kang espiritu ni Tomas Lopez.
Oo nga, I think so yun.
Ayan.
Professor Tommy na maliit na babae. And you know what? 3 of them are joining us full-time. Because para daw ako
espiritu. Grabe, ang tibay din ng loob mo. Nakakailang semester ka na ino-offeran. Tanggi ka ng tanggi, ha? Ang tibay din ng
Malapit ko kitang sugurin, ha?
Hindi po pasundo ka nga.
Pasundo na hindi nga online na nga
ayan na, imagine mo, ayan Akala mo yung pangungulit ko, ako lang, hindi may order of the president tsaka VP yun pag sinesend ko sa yung invite. Lagi mo daw sinasnob si Marilyn.
Ito pa si Lance, sunod ko to.
Mga anak, so...
Ayan na.
Ano muna, ano to, maternity.